Good morning, Lionhearts. How are you today? It's your old pal Jordan. I'm back. And, man, I had a plan for today. I messed it up. My friend Carrie and I, who I know I've mentioned to you guys, she's my friend who helped me out with all the beat research and everything when I went to San Francisco. We were supposed to go out to the desert today and check out the wild poppies. One time every year, these wildflowers start growing out in the desert, and they just miraculously happen. We planned it, and then because I worked so late last night, I woke up today at like 10 o'clock, and then we read online where they were saying, like, if you don't get there by like early morning, it gets pretty swamped with like a lot of cars and a lot of people, and we were like, we were thinking of going out there at once. That probably just wasn't a good idea, especially because it's an hour and a half drive away. So what we think we're going to do is go next weekend together. We're going to go camp the night before, and then we'll just hit it first thing in the morning. So you guys will get to meet Carrie probably next week. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do today. I really don't know. I got to go pick up Jaw right now. I missed the little guy. And we'll figure out what we're going to do. I have a lot of really interesting ideas for today. But I'm waiting to hear back from one person, and that could determine our whole day. Now, I kind of have accepted I probably didn't get the Popeyes commercial, unfortunately. I saw on the paperwork when I was filling it out that the fitting dates are March 28th and that they're filming it on the 29th, 30th, and 31st. And though I don't know for sure, my better judgment tells me they probably would have let people know on Friday, which would have been March 24th. Today's the 26th. That's a lot of numbers to throw at you. I'm sorry. Did I hear a niner in there? So, yeah, I feel like even though sometimes they do let you know that you booked something on a Saturday or Sunday, I just feel like for something like this, I probably would have heard on Friday, so I probably didn't get it, which is fine because this business is full of rejection, and it just makes when you don't get a rejection that much more sweeter. And I have my vlog, and that's always what I'm concentrated on anyway, so I just feel like, you know, things will come to me that are meant to come to me, and things that are not meant to come to me will go away. So I'll look at it that way, and Daze with Jordan the Lion will begin now! Look up at the top. You guys see Pollyanna up there waiting on me? That means Jaw's somewhere nearby. Who is that? Is that my buddy? I know that guy. Who is that guy? Look who's home! It's Jaw! Everybody missed Jaw! Well, Jaw and I came home, and he immediately hopped in my lap. We sat there and hung out and played and fought and wrestled. Then we took a nap, so now we're gonna go do the vlog part, the fun part. Going through Silver Lake, check out the Elliott Smith and Beck mural. Those are like local Silver Lake beloved musicians. All right, let me set our scene here. A rural Silver Lake neighborhood. And we're gonna go check out and meet Randy. This ought to be a blast. I see a guy out here with a cowboy hat. I'm hoping and assuming that's him.
Reflected light.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what almost everything you see in the world is.
Yeah.
Light bouncing off, coming from the sun or from other light source and bouncing off and into your eyes. And so that's what you see.
How did you pick the bottles? The type that you used so that you didn't have to replace them or burst or the colors would fade or? Well,
the criteria was not that, although those are important. The criteria was their shape, because if it's a convex, if it's a teardrop shaped,
yeah,
not cylindrical like almost all bottles are,
yeah,
and but if it's convex like teardrop shaped, like the cobalt blue ones and those big orange ones,
yeah,
the top part is a hemisphere, right? It's almost round at the top, right? And when you fill a convex vessel, a transparent convex vessel full of water, it turns into a fisheye lens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lens. But a cylindrical vessel will not do that. It
does
refract the light, but less coherently. And so, you see, the camera can't probably pick it up, but you see that clear teardrop shape one to the upper left of the sun?
Yeah.
Do you see the dark area at the top of inside that clear teardrop shape one full of water?
Yeah.
That's the trees beyond it upside down.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I mean by it turns into a lens. You see the horizon shrunken and upside down in each one, but you see it much more clearly and vividly when the light source is on the other side of the lens from where you're standing.
Yeah.
So when we walk up and turn around, you'll see that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've been waiting for this.
Cool.
Oh, this is so cool. How long did this take you to do?
Well, this is the fourth one I've done in the same spot. The fourth huge 50-foot long.
Were they all the image of
No.
the? Oh, really? They've been different?
And I'll show you pictures. Yeah, radically different. The first one was the same horizontal distance, but not as tall.
Okay.
And it was a swirling kind of underwater scene, fanciful underwater scene with giant starfish and giant swirls. And I have a picture of it. I'll show you.
Oh,
and
amazing.
I did two others in between that one and this one. This is the fourth one.
Do you just get tired of seeing them, or is there a reason
Yes, the reason... No, I don't exactly get tired of seeing them. Quite the contrary. Matter of fact, I really miss them.
Yeah.
And I particularly miss the first one because it had so much open space, and the medium wants open space. It likes it. It makes it even more compelling.
Absolutely.
I've stumbled onto this medium, this new medium where one makes giant mosaic images, but instead of the basic element being a ceramic tile or a glass tile, it's
almost the way kind of like Watts Towers
lens.
is.
Right. It's a miniature. It's a large lens, which means inside, when you'll see when you get on the other side,
Actually expands the whole image in a way.
You'll see the sky in each one, like I was describing. So the basic element is a miniature living sky, right?
Yeah.
And then in between each element, each miniature sky, instead of there being grout or concrete like in a regular mosaic,
right,
it's open, just nothing.
Yeah.
And so then you can see the sky again writ large. And so that's a radically different medium. That I looked it up. I've searched because I wanted to learn from others who had done it.
Yeah.
No one's ever done it.
Yeah.
And so when one stumbles on a new medium, you don't want to just stick to the first pick.
You're right. You want to keep getting better and better.
And you want to just experiment and create new things. And
you need people to buy you houses.
Yeah,
so
or at least I need a developer who has a hillside.
Yeah.
Because the medium, because of the open space in between each lens, the medium lends itself to huge scale because the force of the wind is not nearly as powerful as it is on a billboard. For instance, of the same size, because that's a solid plane. So I could build a half-mile long or a quarter-mile long, 50-foot tall sculpture situated on a hillside that is a ridge of hills.
Yeah, that would catch light from
north and south, right? And in such a way near a freeway, such that the main the rush hour traffic in the morning is headed east.
Yeah, almost like the 5 on your way to San Francisco.
It would light up. Actually, it needs that could work depending on what section, but it would be better if it was an east-west freeway like the 10.
Okay.
Or the 210.
That follows the way the sun sets,
yes, so that the array would be lit up. From the back in the morning, from the east, as you're driving east, right, and you're seeing it, and then when you turn around and drive back in the afternoon, the sun is setting in the west, and you're looking west, and so it would light up again. And it could be like a huge angel, like arcing over the hillside, as if it was 100 feet long.
That's a great idea.
I know. So a developer or a winery, if you're out there, I'm giving you $1 million idea.
I'm gaining subscribers every day. You never know.
I can make you world famous.
Yeah.
I can make it an icon that
you just need the canvas to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I'm shooting for.
Oh, I love it. I love big dreams. That's so cool.
Thank you so much. Before we go up, the sun is rather hazy today because of the clouds. So you can't see it very distinctly, but these are shadow casters. And you can see the hands of the Virgin cast on the wall behind it. And earlier in the day, You
Oh
can
yeah, you can definitely see that.
Yeah, and-
I'm totally picking that up.
Well, earlier in the day, you could see her full image here, and she climbs the stairs as the sun arcs across the sky.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. I had one here, and it deteriorated, but I want to replace it because that casts a really bitchin' image right there, and it's fun for people to come, couples or whatever, and stand there in front of, and then the giant glowing virgin is praying
Yeah,
on
that's
there.
so cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your interest.
Oh, I love this.
This is the same image, but I made on a T-shirt.
Oh, that's great. Do you sell T-shirts?
I do. I'll show you. I got lots and lots. Matter of fact, I just made this. What do you think?
I love it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I made the pants too.
That's awesome.
I can't stop myself.
Creative mind needs a canvas always.
It does. It does. It's like I'm just if I'm not creating something after a while, I get grumpy. So now you'll see the refraction in action. You come around and
Wow.
You see the bright light in each one of the blue ones, for instance.
Oh,
and each
yeah.
one of the red ones.
I love that glass skull or the glass head that you used.
And that is also is functioning as a lens. See the dark area at the top? That's the tree. That's the hillside beyond, and that bright streak on the lower right-hand side of the skull. That's the sun, because the sun is in the upper left-hand corner of the sky.
Oh wow!
And in this one, this clear one, you can see the hillside more clearly upside down. And you see the trees upside down at the top? And then the sun is below them. And in each one, you'll see, like in those red ones, in the convex part, that's the sun itself blazing away in the
Absolutely.
sky. And you can see in some of them, in the stem, there's another tiny light. Can you see that lower? There's two.
Yeah.
That's also the sun, because the stems are slightly concave, and a concave lens captures the horizon but doesn't turn it upside down.
Well, and you were smart enough to leave just enough of like an airspace in there to create even more.
Well, that was a happy accident. That creates even more distinctly, particularly in these ones. Some of them need to be refilled.
Yeah, I see you kind of corked them. That's interesting.
Yes, and in some of them the cork has come out over time. So I need to give it a little attention. And then there's some open spaces here because I needed the money so bad. I sold some of the bottles to a TV show.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm surprised people haven't come and tried to like swipe them and stuff.
No, I've had no problems like that whatsoever. But they do come around, to admire it, and some wanted this Knights of Astoria was the TV show. These are all TV T-shirts that I've made that happen to get wet. So I am drying them out.
Yeah.
If you see them, one of my favorites is over here.
Look at this. Oh, this is so cool.
One of my favorites. What does that look like to you?
Oh, it looks like almost like a cat ram.
Yeah, it's kind of like some
with a little heart, like right in the center.
Right. It's some sort of fanciful creature. Some people see a cat. Some people see a dog. Some people see a cross between a cat and a dog. But it's super fun.
Wow.
I come home after work, and I'll make these stencils, and then lay them on a shirt, and then spray bleach on them.
That's what I figured your method was. I had fallen in bleach at one point and done some of this to my shirt.
Right. Now, if you come over here and you block this.
Where did you get the like skull? I mean the craniums.
They're from Spain.
I see, those are so interesting.
Heads, yeah.
I didn't notice that the other times I've been here.
The Spaniards have a deep artistic tradition, and it used to be populated exclusively by what they call, or not exclusively, but largely by the Iberian Celts. Kind of their own. It was part of the Celtic culture, but distinct.
Yeah.
And the Celts were really into the heads and chopping them off, and hanging them in front of their home
as a lesson.
Warriors, well, as a way to capture the mojo of their enemies. This is what Caesar writes about. It was a long time ago. Pre-Christian. So I couldn't help but notice that they came Spain, you know.
Wow.
But if you come over here, what I was saying, and you block the lens on your camera from the sun shining directly on it, you can see the orange light in each of these big teardrop shaped ones.
Oh yeah, you see the sun.
Yes.
Every one of those is the sun
blazing away.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And those big teardrop shaped ones, some of them don't have coloring in the water, and some of them are empty. And you can see the difference between. See that one over there to the left is empty, and you can see, and those two over there are also empty. So the difference between empty and full is radical.
Completely.
You don't see the color and you don't see the refraction. So the magic is in the refraction.
That's so amazing. And that you were able to find enough bottles to keep your pattern going.
Well, I went hog wild when I found the blue ones. I bought out all the stores that I could find, and my budget would allow. The guy who owned that company, it's I think long gone, but he called me up. He'd seen a write-up in the LA Times or something, and he called me up and was very enthusiastic. He's saying, "You are my Picasso," and I regret to this day not hitting him up for more, because the cobalt blue one is where I started. I had one of them in my kitchen window, and I saw a blazing blue light in the morning, and I put on my glasses and looked down closely to see what that was, and I saw that not only was there a blazing pale blue light, which turned out to be the sun, but I could see the entire horizon to the northeast, the San Gabriel Mountains, the giant cumulus clouds above the San Gabriels, and then the palm trees on the edge of Elysian Park in the foreground, and then in the very foreground my neighbor's trees, all in this little bottle, shrunken and upside down.
That's so cool.
That's what
that was where your epiphany came from.
Exactly. I realized, my God, I could make images out of the sky itself.
Yeah.
And at night.
And if you think about it, that's what all great art people are always buying pictures of skies on their wall. That's like the centrifugal basis of most art.
Well, that is very astute of you. When I realized, I recognize, as you do and as virtually everybody does, that it is deep in our nature to find the sky and the horizon.
The possibility of open space.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
In the extreme, we either evolved to find that beautiful, or God made us that way, depending on your point of view.
Yeah.
But either way, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
So if the basic element is already unutterably beautiful, and then if you take that miniature sky and put it where it shouldn't be, your brain is keyed into focusing on novelty, on what is new in your experience. And then if you put it in a beautiful shape that we've also evolved, or God's made us to find beautiful, like the teardrop shape.
Yeah, you're presenting beauty in a new beautiful light.
In a beautiful form. And then if you use colors that we innately find compelling, like cobalt blue and ruby red, and then if in between them you see the sky again writ large, then you can't help but find it compelling. Yeah. Because you're taking advantage of a deep human nature of what human beings find beautiful, and then if you take all those and assemble them into a symbol that your particular culture finds moving, and we are a symbolic creature unlike any other on earth that we know. Oh yeah. Symbols mean something to us, not all the same, but they're always in our lives. And the Virgin of Guadalupe, which you can't see from this angle, there's a giant Virgin of Guadalupe there, that then you have all sorts of unconscious powerful responses before you even think about it, and it's like a heroine for an artist to see people who are responding to all of those at once. Yeah. Wow. So this is a cool angle to see it from. And then I'll go inside and I'll bring you some pictures. Okay. To show you. I just did that, and I'm going to do the other side symmetrically. Yeah, I wasn't recording, guys, but Randy just said he's going to work on a lion shirt for me. Yeah. Going to try and create something for my
my love of the lions.
Oh, I'm going to go more than try. I'm going to succeed. I can see it on your ring. You'll dig it. Guaranteed to blow your mind.
Awesome.
Give me 1 second.
What actually prompted that is that you see he makes all these shirts and he has all these stencils laying around, and I have always been a fan of, you guys obviously know lions, but also elephants, and he had an elephant stencil laying around, and I said, I would love one of your shirts like this exactly with the elephants on it. And he said, I don't think I have one of your size. I go, actually, if you had a lion, that'd be great, because everything in my life, including the vlog, goes by lion. And he said, I would love to create something like that. So, awesome. And I'll bet you, if he's willing to make more, I bet some of you guys would want one as well. An official Jordan the Lion Randyland shirt. How cool would that be? Man, look at that. I can't wait to see what some of his older designs were.
Since that hillside, I'm on a hillside here. We're Randyland on the hillside, and on the there's a little valley, and then there's a hillside opposite. And if you walk up that hill on a sunny day at about 10 in the morning, and turn around and look back this way, this is what it looks like.
Wow.
So I'm glad you're nearby, because you can see it for yourself. You know, tomorrow or sometime soon when the weather's clear. And this one was made before I put that big sun motif there. And there's going to be, above the sun motif is going to be the torso of a kind of African-looking pagan goddess.
So it's not finished?
No, and I'm going to put wings on her, and then it's going to be, you know, the angels, Los Angeles.
Now, how do you climb up and do all that safely?
Well, the structure itself, I built it all by myself. I mean, completely by myself. And so the structure had to be strong enough as it got taller, to support me.
Yeah.
And
plus with gravity and the way you're moving around on it and swaying and
gravity especially, and the water is heavy. It's
right.
a gallon. And there's many gallons in there. So the structure is a series of spring-loaded arches made out of rebar.
Okay.
I plant one end into the ground, and then I draw the other end to it, and see how they're curved.
Yeah.
That when you curve them that way, they become spring-loaded, and they're much stronger than they would be if they were just hung there. And then when you clamp each one together, it becomes similar to a giant steel spider web. So anywhere I put pressure on it,
it just spring effect almost.
It distributes the stress throughout the whole structure.
Now I almost hate to ask this question, but have you had any situations of like natural disaster tests for it, and like any kind of earthquake? Like, have you felt?
It's been up for 17 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you how long that's been.
The earthquakes are no problem at all. The regular structures are much more stressed. This, because there's so much open space, and because each element is suspended and connected by galvanized wire. And because it has you can't see it, but there's a very broad base to all these spring-loaded arches. And there's also a series of triangles. There's one there. They're kind of hidden. But the short answer is earthquakes are no problem for the structure. The more stress is put on by wind, but actually not very much stress because there's so much open space. If this was a billboard, a solid plane, or a house wall, I would have to have vastly more structure. You've seen billboards; they have these giant steel pipes, 3 feet in diameter, inch thick steel, or half inch. I mean, and they're stuck into concrete caissons 10 feet. None of that's necessary because the wind blows right through it.
That's brilliant. So smart.
And I built billboards for just as movie parts of movie sets. So I know.
Is that where your background is?
Yes.
Are you're a set guy?
Yes.
Awesome.
Exactly, yeah.
I was gonna ask you where, like, what your training was, or where you got all your.
Well, I didn't have any training in construction before I went into building.
The great ones never do they?
I just needed a job, but I learned a hell of a lot on the job. And one of the things I learned was people think in very conventional terms. I built a whole lot, and the designers, of course,
you remind me of Bob Gurr. You know who Bob Gurr is?
No.
The guy who he created and designed most of all the Disney rides, and he created the first animatronic Lincoln and all that stuff. And he said how he did it was he said, I thought of the body as a fuselage of a plane and how to make everything work that way. And
I love that.
Yeah, and he said that the whole reason he was able to create things was because he had no actual real knowledge of how to do it, never been trained, and was just using a different approach to it.
Right, you come completely fresh to it. I can dig that. Matter of fact, that fuselage thing, when I was a kid, I said I had no training. I did have a little in that my dad was off in Vietnam, and so my uncle raised me while he was gone, and he would give my brother and I model airplane kits that, with the balsa wood.
Absolutely.
And the paper that you kind of painted glue on, that gave me my first understanding of how to make the minimal structure that's strong enough to create, various volumes, various shapes in space.
Yeah.
And I find I use that to this day quite a bit in my set building.
That's amazing.
But what I was going to say about set building is that because they're designing to accommodate a script, and most scripts don't call for extraordinary things like this, there's a certain, kind of conventional, habitual, kind of boring quality to most of the designs, even though they're constantly trying to be not boring, but they, aren't succeeding.
Yeah.
So it kept on occurring to me that, hey, if you feel that way, put up or shut up.
Yeah.
And so I decided to get myself an outdoor space, and to try to make something as innovative and as uplifting and evocative as I could.
You did, or you are.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So that I wasn't just all talk. To myself. I was really just talking to myself.
Absolutely.
But it's like saying, "Oh, I can do better than that." Well, okay, then let's see it.
Absolutely. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah. And so I wanted to show you what. Let's stick to the theme of how it changes in appearance. You see what it looks like now. You saw what this looks like from 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Okay, now the same image, the same thing, exact same thing, taken on a sunny day at about this time of day, but sunny, not hazy like that, looks like this.
Wow.
That's taken right from that doorstep there.
Yeah.
And then again, the same exact figure, but taken from a different angle. Let's see if I can find it here. Taken from that upstairs window just before sunset, looks like this.
Wow.
So it
just changes color. I mean, it's
constantly.
It
constantly, depending on where you are, what is in the sky, and what time of day and what time of year it is.
That's so cool.
And so let's see.
What's your favorite time of the year? The look of that, or is it just
the best time of year is when the sun is an hour before sunset, and in the morning is the trajectory of the light, so to speak, is most is closest to 90 degrees.
Okay.
So in the summertime, the sun sets right there, almost directly opposite at a right angle to the plane of glass.
Okay.
Or to the plane of the array, because this is oriented more or less north-south, and that's almost due west. Whereas in the wintertime, the sun sets way down there. And now, since we're halfway between winter and summer, the sun is setting right there.
Yeah.
But in the wintertime, the sun is in the southern, kind of in the southern quarter of the sky. So all these light up. They're not lit up now, but they light up like crazy at about 2 o'clock in
Oh,
the
that's so cool.
afternoon on a winter's day. And as you can see from this one, this is taken in the morning during the summer with the sun just peeking above the trees. And this figure here is all lit up. And those are all out of glass beads. Now you can see.
Oh, yeah, right there.
And you can see that it looks radically different and much less conspicuous now. But in the summertime or on a clearer day, this will be blazing.
Yeah.
And I want to change that teardrop shape right at the end of the hand there into one of the spherical ones, so it looks like the woman is doing this slam
dunk. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crying out for it. But I'm into this kind of the human figure in dancers, and I'll show you another example of what one can do with this medium. I made a whole dancer series made out of a much smaller number of lenses, vases or bottles, and this is made almost all of IKEA vases that are full of wine.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
And you can see inside each one of these skinny ones, the sun is being stretched out into a comet shape because the vases are asymmetrical and,
that's awesome.
and elongated.
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't that crazy talk? I've got a whole series of those. So let's see, that gives you an idea of oh yeah, this you were asking about, the different configurations. This is the 4th configuration. This one that I'm going to show you now is the 3rd.
Okay.
That came right before this, and this was taken from my upstairs window.
Oh, wow.
And you can see that hillside beyond in the distance.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
See how in the yellow teardrop shaped ones, how it's bright yellow on the bottom?
Yeah, and then it oranges.
Sky.
Yeah, that's
and
so
that dark
cool.
area at the top is that hillside upside down. And do you see how the light is intruding into the dark? That's because it's right at sunset. The sun is setting in reality right there.
That's so cool.
Is that crazy talk?
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And this is another example. I did this on a pillow.
Nice!
Of the dancers, right?
That's awesome.
Sorry. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I love it.
And then this is another dancer.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So it's super, super duper fun, and it absolutely stokes me to no end when people come by and are into it,
How's the best way for people to get a hold of you or to see anything about, like, say people are coming out of town and they want to swing by and see it or try and meet you or something? Is that possible?
Yes. Anybody can reach me by calling or texting at 213-278-1508. And that number is also on my website, which is randylandla.com. I would have done Randyland, but it was already taken. It was some muffler shop in Indiana. But it turns out there's another actual Randyland that's a big art display, kind of art environment in Pittsburgh, and this exuberant spirit. Again, he's not using this medium.
Yeah.
But I thought America is.
What are the odds?
You gotta love this country that has 2 Randylands.
Yeah.
But anyway, they can call me at that number or go to my website, and you'll see my number there. Or you can go to my Facebook page, which is under Randyland, and choose the Echo Park Randyland, not the.
Now, do you sell your shirts and stuff through there?
I do. On my website, I sell the shirts and prints of the glass, and I keep making new designs, but I've got my first 200 or so on there. I've got wolves and cats and dogs and all sorts of kind of full torso body transforming art like this one, which is actually kind of changing the shape of the human body, the appearance of it, which is really good as for people like me who are are not as thin and supple as I used to be. I can make myself look thinner just by the designs that I create.
Well, what I was going to ask you is, since you're thinking about making that lion shirt for me, if some of my fans want to buy one, would you be willing to maybe we can figure out a way to mass produce a few of them and they can order them from us?
Definitely.
Okay, that would be awesome, because I know that something like that, everybody, especially I know people are going to love this. And they're gonna want a piece of this vlog. Like, they're gonna want one of these shirts. I mean, I know I would if I were watching it.
Well, what we'll do is I'll make a design and I'll run it by you, and then and you can tell me if it suits you or any tweaks you have to suggest, and then once we once we come to agreement on that, then I can make more of them.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
can make one-offs, in the development process, and then and I can make them different sizes so that people can order them, and I can make them in men's or women's, small through extra large.
Okay.
Or extra large.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me out. I thank you so much for creating something like this, because the world needs more of this, and there's so few people that have the imagination that can create it.
Well, you know what? That may be. It certainly seems that way. I really think it's.
Maybe the imagination's there, but the will to go out and do it on their own is not.
That's it. And it's only not because they haven't done it. So kind of by definition, it's not. But what I would say to anybody, wanting to create something compelling and new in the world is one thing leads to another. One idea leads to another, but only if you go and execute the first one. And then you see it, and then you react to it and go on. If it just remains an idea, it won't evolve.
I said the same thing about this channel when I told everybody. I said, how I ended up doing it was one day I just went out and did one, and I was scared I'd run out of ideas, and then as you do it, you just start learning. You come up with so many ideas, you don't have enough time to execute all the ideas.
Exactly
so it really is like trial by error and success by.
It stimulates. There's a reaction to it. There's always this, oh, that's cool. I wonder what this would look like. I wonder if this changed that. I wonder what this
possibility
would
is
be.
endless.
It just appears in your brain. And not just mine. I really think that people develop a cult of the ever so rare creative artist or genius, as they put it. When I really think it's in the doing. The difference is not so much my imagination. Maybe I do. Maybe I am somewhat eccentric. I'll grant you that considerably, but. It's in the doing that leads to it. It didn't start out this way. It just started out as one little string of cobalt blue bottles that I put up when I was really depressed because I hated my job and my girlfriend had dumped me. And I was tired of, I figured, well, since I'm depressed, I could either be depressed and a lump on a log, inert, or I could go out and actually do something. Life is in the doing. And I was just kind of trying to save my life, my soul, and it worked. And I would recommend it to anybody.
Well, I thank you so much, man. This has been one of the best vlogs I've ever done. Getting to see all of this.
You bet. You can do me a favor, my beautiful. And I wish she was feeling well today because she's very captivating on camera. My beautiful, not quite ex-wife. She's from Istanbul, and she has this lovely accent and this very lively way of speaking. And I always encourage her to give her 2 cents, mainly complaining about what it's like to live with an artist who has a remodel that he hasn't finished in 17 years.
And using an Emmy tarp.
Right. Instead, and here I am out hanging blue bottles from rebar in the front yard instead of finishing her kitchen. But she's not feeling well. But she has admonished me to encourage everybody who comes by, if they can, to give me a small donation.
Absolutely.
And anybody who comes by, you're under no obligation, but every little bit helps because I've got big plans.
Absolutely. I would love to donate to it. Plus, I want to, like I said, I want to get those shirts.
Yeah. I'm really into it.
Well, that was by far maybe one of my favorite experiences in my life was meeting Randy. We've been talking back and forth for weeks about making this happen, and then even when I turned the camera off, we were standing there talking for about 30 minutes, and when I left, he had told me his wife was inside and that she wasn't feeling well and whatnot, and then he had mentioned to me one time before a girlfriend, like he called her his girlfriend. So when I left, I go, well, give my love to your girlfriend. I hope she feels better. He goes, oh no, that's my wife. My girlfriend lives in Highland Park. And I go, huh? And he goes, don't worry, man, it's all above board. And he goes, peace, brother. I love people that are loving life, and that guy's loving his life. So he's going to make us some Daze with Jordan the Lionheart t-shirts, and if you guys would like to purchase them so that you have a piece of Randyland, we're going to make that available. And as I was leaving, right out on the front steps, I looked down and this was laying on the ground. And I said, "Is that one of yours?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, man, take it. Whenever kids come by, I let them walk around the property, and if they can find one on the ground, it's like an Easter egg for them." Oh, I got 2 new Patreons I wanted to thank you guys. Tim Petiprin and Tracy Morgan. Thank you for becoming new Patreons. I appreciate it. That orange tree and the palm trees together, isn't that cool? Gotta love open scenery sometimes. What a fun day this has been. Now, one of the questions that I asked Randy, guys, was I said, what kind of prompted you to do that design right now? And the other thing was, I didn't realize he's never disassembled any of that structure. He's only removed bottles. From all 4 of those designs he had, he's added on. He said he chose that design because he said, well, Los Angeles, the city of angels, and the religious thing and everything, but he said, I thought that if I ever got problems from the community or the city, that the religious people would come out and help back me up. I truly hope you guys enjoyed meeting Randy. I know I certainly did. That was a one-of-a-kind dude, and I really enjoyed meeting him. And if you'd like to find out more about Randy, go to his Facebook and check out Randyland LA. He told me a really, really interesting story about a woman he used to know. And it involves Charlie Chaplin, and I'm going to possibly do that vlog tomorrow. He actually told me where it happened, everything about it. And I just thought it was so great that I thought, hey, that might be pretty cool. Let's do a Randy story the day after I do Randyland. But I can't promise you. You guys know how my mind changes. Sometimes I just go with the wind and I go do something else. Maybe I might go to Velveteria tomorrow. Who knows? But that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little long, but when you have a chance to meet with an artist and get a tour with the artist and let him spill his guts as to what made it happen, you don't rush him. So I wasn't going to rush him. Have a good night. Please give this a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's your old buddy Jordan the Lion from Hollywood, California, saying, jaws on the floor, he's going to salute you too. Good night.